Another overcast day. Ambo's going into the city. Look at it, grey. Saturday. It's just, it's been like this for days again. We've had one, I think it was last Tuesday, I can't remember exactly the day, but there's one day we got a bit of sunshine. But that was about it. It's just been grey and just drizzly at the moment. Sort of like Melbourne weather, but without the cold, which is the big difference. But yeah, not great. It's the longest time of having just overcast weather I can recall here. It's strange. But just going to go to the pub and read the paper and just have a bit of a break. I didn't even go out yesterday. It was just such miserable weather. So yeah, it's just very strange. Since I've been up here, this is definitely the cloudiest I've ever encountered consistently anyway. Well, 2 days in a row we've had decent weather, which is highly appreciated considering it's been so grey and overcast for so long, because that is the norm at the moment. Hopefully this will break the cycle, so that'd be good. Yeah, today the reality check regarding our electricity supply. It went out again. It's about about 5:20 in the morning, early morning, and it was out for about 40 minutes. It wasn't too long, but I could hear people downstairs mouthing off about it, presumably about it. I don't know what they were saying, but you could hear them speaking anyway, so it's probably a few shift workers and what have you. But good old Ergon, our public monopoly electricity supplier up here. And of course, there's one thing you can always rely on in Cairns, it's constant southerly breeze. God, it's great for, didn't have this hassle in Saigon when I was trying to do these videos, but here, it's it's worse than usual. I don't remember it being this bad when I first got here, but yeah, the wind's a real problem. Still haven't heard back from the kitchen renovation place, because I was a bit funny about the cost. It might have sort of, I wasn't going to be very. Oh, it's good to get out, but I've got to say it was really rowdy at PJ's today. Really rowdy. A group of young guys there, young Irish guys, and they were really noisy. So still I got to read the paper, and there was a new barmaid there. Couldn't work out what her accent was, but she seemed quite friendly, so it was nice to exchange greetings there. So that was good. Yeah, the Australian's quite a good paper actually. There's quite a few good articles there, so it's a sort of double bonus. I get myself the discount on my Guinness, and also get to read a newspaper I don't have to pay for. I mean, I don't know how much the Australian is these days. I haven't bought a newspaper probably in decades, literally decades. I get everything online. So, but it did actually have they do have good journos there. It seems like it's actually decent quality, and it's a mix of views politically, which is good. So, yeah, I find it's a good read, and instead I get the discount Guinness on top of it, it's actually pretty good value all round. It's not always available because sometimes someone may have nicked it or they're reading it that time, but it was available today, and all those young guys obviously weren't interested in reading the Australian. I don't think they were the demographic they were aiming for. But yeah, then I went to Woolworths to do some shopping, and a number of people who kept bumping into me, and of course a lot of them were looking at their screens. It's crazy, you know, just this addiction to looking at your smartphones. It's just bizarre. So that was pretty bad. And also when I went to the checkout, there was this Asian lady serving, and she didn't even say hello to me, and didn't say a word to me the whole transaction actually. must have reminded someone who she didn't like in the past or something. I've got no idea, but it's just ridiculous. I got myself a bottle of cheap grog next door at the BWS, and that was okay. The people there at least talked to me, which is nice. It's not great customer service when you just won't even say hello to the customer. You don't say anything at the end of the transaction. You didn't say a word to me. It was weird. But she did greet the next customer, so it's obviously just me. So not so good. But yes, it's another thing I gleaned from the Australian was that I'm actually quite happy that the Senate does have some power, because they're forcing the Liberals into actually having a bit of a backbone when it comes to energy prices, because basically I've been very disappointed with them since the election. It was a relief for them to win, because Labor would have been an absolute disaster, but they're pretty wimpy. They're a pretty gutless group of people from what I can gather. And I don't know if I particularly rate the cabinet ministers in control, but the cross benches in the Senate are actually blocking them from, forcing them to actually do something about building dams, and also about building coal-fired power stations and reducing electricity costs. They just don't seem to care. I'm just staggered at their attitude. They just don't. It's like Labor's worse when it comes to influence by the Greens, but I think this is actually something that's happening too. And speaking of the Greens, apparently they've trashed the Barrier Reef so much that the tourism up here is really suffering. And Cathay Pacific pulled out after, I think, an association about 25 years having direct flights to Hong Kong here. They pulled out because of lack of demand. And you can thank the Greens for it to a large extent, for just basically trashing the Great Barrier Reef. And I don't believe them. They're an advocacy group. They're like activist journalists. They just basically have an agenda, and the truth is just something that actually gets in the way of their message, and if it does, they don't care about the truth. So it's hurting people up here really badly. Although there were plenty of people at the pub today, and it's only a Tuesday, so although happy hours between 5 and 6, and that's about now, so maybe those young Irish guys were hanging out for the happy hour. Not sure, but gee, they were noisy, and it was noisy again on Saturday. Maybe a sporting group that's touring or something. They're the classics when it comes to that sort of behaviour, so that might be the case. It's not quite as windy, thank God. Well, what a revelation. Anyways, I know Shiraz for ages, so this will be an interesting. It's a half-price bottle of grog, so it's sold quite well. But it's funny, there were stacks of Shiraz bottles available, Margaret River Shiraz, but all these cab sebs have sold. And of course the special finishes today, so it is the end of the cycle. I probably could have picked up one last week, but you know, like life, everything's about timing. And Palisades had their state, the Queensland state budget was handed down by Jackie Tran, and of course it's lots more spending, government spending, more debt, and the number of public servants in this state has just ballooned since they've been in power. So we'll see how that goes. Apparently there's supposed to be a bit more money for health up here. We'll see an effect of that. Not that I've noticed it's been particularly poor service anyway. It's been fine with me. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great. But please don't ignore me. That's the worst thing you can do on YouTube, is be ignored.